The way we consume and share news today, it is largely rooted in social media outlets, a reason why it's crucial to look at what's being discussed online. From the hottest issues to trends for our daily social media minute, we're joined by Yerika. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Thoughts on Tuesdays? It doesn't really get a lot of love because we hate Mondays.
You know what? One thing I'm loving is just how bright the sky is. You know, the sun is actually up by the time I get here.
Small things.
I can see
that
things.
brings us Yes. It does wonders actually for my mood.
Yeah. Really, seriously.
It doesn't feel like yesterday when I come to work.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm coming into work in the middle of the night.
Yay, small joys of working the morning shift, folks. Yep. If you're on your way to work, it's bright outside.
I mean, this is a team that works in some ungodly hours.
Yes, in case you didn't get the memo. Live from Seoul. All right, let's jump into our first buzzword of the day. So there was a massive Incheon market fire that charred dozens of stores black. Of course, a suspect was found and now he's in police custody. Now we're getting more details about who he is, his motives, his records.
Yeah. So the man, the arsonist who set fire to the Hyundai market in Incheon, burned down roughly, 40 stores? Something like that. He's been found to be a habitual arsonist who has committed similar crimes 24 times in the past. And he's also served 10 years in prison for those crimes.
Yeah, so he is an arsonist.
Yes. So according to law enforcement, the 48-year-old man who was recently arrested was sentenced to 4 prison terms for arson cases between 2006 and 2018. They're all for arson-related charges.
So the number of arson he committed in 12 years reached 24 cases, like you said. Now the locations of where he hits, essentially, it varies a great deal.
That's right. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
But he committed his first arson back in December of 2006.
Okay.
He apparently set fire to a pile of trash piled up with lighters in front of the main gate of an apartment building in what was then Namgu in Incheon, what is currently Michuholgu. The man also set fire to 4 vehicles. The following year, in 2007, he was eventually indicted on charges of arson of a vehicle and sentenced to 1 year in prison. And then the list basically goes on.
Okay.
In August of 2011, he also set fire 4 times in residential areas over the course of 30 minutes. After being released from prison in November of 2017, he set fire to a residential areas 10 times in March and in April. 9 of these crimes were committed over the course of just 1 hour at dawn.
Okay, so it seems that in a night where he is inclined to set fire to multiple locations,
that's right.
He doesn't just target one area, but he may just make his rounds. There are some common threads to his crimes.
Yeah, like he commits these crimes very late at night or very early in the morning when there are not that many people walking around. Like you said, he usually committed these crimes by making several rounds at night around the targeted neighborhoods. He was also drunk most of these times. His motive was never really clear. It seemed like he set fire to just random places or things for no particular reason.
Right. So I do wonder then, because he started somewhere.
Yeah.
Something must have struck. I fail to understand, but do we know what motivated his first arson?
Yeah, we have some insight.
Okay.
I mean, when he committed his first arson back in 2006, he was unhappy with the way things were going in his life. But the criminal acts that followed seems to have no coherent reason.
Okay.
It's habitual.
Okay.
It's weird to say that, I know. He worked as a daily worker in and out of prison.
Right.
He suffered from various hardships in life and became deeply pessimistic about his circumstances, especially when he was drunk.
Okay, so obviously none of these condones his behavior.
No.
I mean, he set fire to potentially incredibly dangerous situations, right? And so he served time for that.
Yeah.
And he's a repeat offender. But it begs, I think, a much bigger fundamental question. What's falling short here, right?
Exactly.
Why are we allowing these repeat offenses to happen? Yep. Do we not have enough safety nets so that he can recover and rejoin society?
True.
Things like that.
In addition to his previous incendiary convictions, he also served 2.5 years in prison for attempted rape in 2003. So this is a deeply, deeply troubled man.
Right. So as a society, what should we be doing? Besides, calling him names. I'm seeing a lot of that online. I understand the anger, but what comes afterwards?
And how about these people, owners of these 40 stores, who had their entire livelihoods burned out over the course of one evening. Yep.
Again, I fail to see why we're falling short. You said dozens of times.
Yep,
right?
dozens of times.
That's when he was caught. All right, we're going to leave it there for now because we don't have all the answers. Investigations are still unfolding as we speak. It's kind of funny how they named this story. 3 must-have housework assistants popular among Korean newlyweds. They come in the form of gadgets and gizmos.
That's right. When we say, I translated the term 이모님 as housework assistants, but we're talking about not actual people here. We're talking about home appliances.
It's funny.
Gadgets. So according to a survey conducted worldwide by Statista, 82% of weddings around the world, which were supposed to take place in April of 2020, were postponed. In addition, 11% of weddings in the same month were canceled together. This Statista is a Germany-based online platform specializing in market and consumer data.
Okay.
Now, that trend is seeing a major turnaround as things have started to normalize in most parts of the world, including South Korea. The number of weddings is on the rise, on a steep rise, in fact. 3 years of COVID has changed so many aspects of our lives, including our tastes and preferences for many things. That includes the latest trends in home appliances for newlyweds.
We had these discussions, right? How we were spending more time at home, indoors. We're advised to do that. So I can imagine things like TVs, bigger TVs.
Coffee machines became super popular.
Not just like the regular kind, the fancy ones where they give you quality espresso, things like that. And I guess that makes sense. But in the past, essential home appliances included, I guess, simply put, refrigerators. Washing machines.
TVs.
Yeah.
Now, these days, popular home appliances for newlyweds include dryers, dishwashers, and robot vacuum cleaners. These products have been around for a while.
I was going to say,
when it comes to dryers, though, and dishwashers, Korea was quite late in catching on to the trend, should I say?
When I was growing up in Korea, the adults used to tell us, electricity is too expensive. We do not use a dryer and a dishwasher. So we had these hangers for drying our clothes during the god-awful months of summer, too. And there were no dishwashers.
Have you talked to some of your Korean American friends? They have some funny stories to tell about dishwashers. Like, apparently their moms never used dishwashers, even living in the U.S., used them as like storage.
Yeah, I found books in dishwashers.
No way.
I found clothes in dishwashers. You name it, and I've seen it.
Yeah. So according to the latest analysis by Hyundai Department Store, preferences have changed a lot compared to just 5 years ago. During the months of January and February of this year, the number 1 most popular home appliance was, can you guess?
Radio. Just kidding. TV?
Yeah. Number 1 is still television. Still television.
But it's hooked up to streaming, so maybe we've adjusted just a little bit.
At second place was the dryer. At third place was the dishwasher. At fourth place was the fridge. And at fifth place was the robot vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
Now, 5 years ago, at number 1 spot was the TV. At second place was the refrigerator. Third place was the washing machine. And at fourth place, air conditioner. And at fifth place was the dryer. So refrigerators, which were the number 1 most conventionally popular home appliance, fell from second place to fourth place, while washing machines and air conditioners were pushed out of the top 5 altogether. Sales of dryers, dishwashers, and robot vacuum cleaners increased significantly from the same period last year. but fridges and washing machines increased only by a single digit.
I can't imagine a home surviving without a refrigerator or washing machine. So you tell me, why is it less popular?
The decline in the popularity of fridges and washing machines and air conditioners is attributed to the recent increase in the number of houses with built-in home appliances. So apartments come with these appliances, including fridges, washing machines, and air conditioners.
The quality just does fall short, though, I must say.
Yeah, the built-in ones?
Yeah. I mean,
smaller, too.
They're always smaller. They're not the most energy efficient, and they seem to, no offense, break more easily.
Yeah. Now, post-COVID-19, sales of Bluetooth speakers, beam projectors, and coffee machines have also increased significantly.
So that's not changing.
No.
It's funny how our taste buds work.
Yeah.
If we've seen the fancier ones, we don't go back.
Exactly.
My coffee machine is still working hard. Not in the mornings anymore, though.
That's one thing that Lena loves, by the way.
That's what I live on, actually, what I live for. So can you imagine when I had to cut out coffee? All right, on to our third story today.
Sure.
This is my worst nightmare. Did I tell you? I'm actually
scared of the water?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know so many people who are.
The open water. Pool is fine. That's a controlled environment.
So imagine what happens when you go snorkeling. Yeah. So you're underwater, you're enjoying the beautiful scenery there, and then you surface only to find that your boat, which you're supposed to climb back on after you're done. Back to the shore, is not there.
What would I do?
On the surface. So this actually happened to a couple.
That's right.
And they're suing a Hawaii tour company for $5 million. They're saying they were abandoned in the middle of the ocean while snorkeling. Oh, they were snorkeling, actually, not scuba diving, snorkeling on their honeymoon. Okay. So the couple, they went on the snorkeling trip to Lanai, which is a small island near Maui, in September of 2021. The waters became turbulent, and then suddenly the boat was gone. Like literally, you know how when you're so focused looking at what's under the water, right? And then you're breathing.
Yes.
So you don't feel the urge to like look up from time to time.
You don't pop up regularly to check if your boat is there because your boat should be there theoretically.
But it was not. And then they realized the boat had left. The couple tried to keep afloat. Okay. They tried to make distress signals.
To no avail.
Yeah, exactly. And then, according to court filings, they ended up in even deeper and choppier water. Now, the newlyweds, as you can probably imagine, they started to panic, and they struggled to swim in these choppy ocean conditions. And they were scared. They were scared for their lives. They knew that they were going to drown if something or somebody didn't come and rescue them.
But apparently they're quite athletic, so they managed to survive.
So they actually swam to shore. It took 40 to 50 minutes of desperately swimming, and by the time they reached the shore, they were completely exhausted and dehydrated as well.
Okay, so if they weren't young, if they weren't healthy, if they weren't fit, this entire story could have been a tragic ending. So it begs so many questions. Like, did the accused company really abandon their customers?
You know what? What surprises me, like shocks me, is that this company didn't notice that anyone had gone missing.
Okay, so I'm assuming there were multiple people.
Yeah, multiple people on the boat. Okay, yeah, so the couple's attorney said that the tour company was disorganized, didn't give set boundaries to tourists, and they didn't even ensure snorkelers used a buddy system.
Which is just the basic, right?
Very, very basic. Yeah, so apparently the tour company conducted head counts 3 times, but still never realized this pair was missing until it was too late.
Okay, because initially I thought $5 million lawsuit, but maybe it's not just about that. Maybe it's about not taking safety precaution measures more seriously. I hate the open water.
So many accidents happen. In the open water.
Exactly. And my fear will never be put to rest. Thanks for that. Thank you for the conversation today,
Pleasure.
I'll see you later.
See you later.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.